Tonight, an outpouring of shock, sadness, and tribute. The great Canadian actor Catherine O'Hara has died.
She's someone that even if you didn't know her, you felt like you knew her. And you're like, this is just someone who is always going to be there.
Catherine O'Hara.
From the genre redefining SCTV.
When you like to speak as fast as I can, we're going to. We can't have now.
To a long run of Hollywood hits.
Kevin!
And a surprise late career turn.
David!
Her comedy, never mean, sometimes absurd, always humble and human. The Conservative Party of Canada votes on the leadership of Pierre Poilievre.
My message to those people who have felt unseen for too long: Conservatives see you, and Conservatives will fight for you.
In front, they score! Poulin has tied it for Canada!
Captain Clutch on how she got so good.
I was the only girl to play with boys, and I really had to stand my ground, and it's kind of what built my character.
My conversation with Marie-Philippe Poulin.
From CBC News, this is The National with Erica Johnson.
Thank you for joining us. Tonight, Canada has lost a beloved comedy legend. Actor Catherine O'Hara has died. Her multi-decade career captivated generations of audiences worldwide, keeping both them and proud Canadians laughing. O'Hara made her numerous film and TV roles her own, earning her a reputation as a scene stealer, perhaps most notably in her Emmy-winning performance as Moira Rose on the hit CBC show Schitt's Creek. A representative for O'Hara confirmed she died today at her home in Los Angeles after a brief illness. She was 71. Magda Gabersalessa shows us Catherine O'Hara's life and legacy and why she was one of Canada's most celebrated performers.
Catherine O'Hara.
One after another, decade after decade, her characters lit up the screen. From SCTV to Home Alone.
Merry Christmas, sweetheart. That's an ostrich bag.
To Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
Catherine O'Hara infused them all with her humor and humanity.
We're all ridiculous and lovely, beautiful, hilarious people, and so there's just a never-ending wealth of characters in the world.
O'Hara's representatives say she died Friday in LA after a brief illness. Shocking news that ripped through the industry.
Hearing that this morning, like, absolutely rocked me. And just, I don't know. She's someone that even if you didn't know her, you felt like you knew her.
Her start came on stage at Toronto's Second City Theatre and as a founding member of SCTV, making improv gold with fellow Canadian comedy greats like John Candy, Martin Short, Andrea Martin, and Eugene Levy, to name a few.
Catherine O'Hara was a trailblazer and an iconic talent, so it's impossible to get into comedy in Canada and not feel that influence, not be inspired by that pathway.
They're influencers, most of them.
A path that crossed back and forth between TV and films like Beetlejuice.
I will go insane, and I will take you with me!
Michael Keaton wrote on Instagram, "She's been my pretend wife, my pretend nemesis, and my real-life true friend. This one hurts."
I manned that front desk with...
But long after those turns came a career resurgence with longtime collaborator Eugene Levy. Schitt's Creek earned her Canadian Screen Awards, a Golden Globe, and a second Emmy Award. Karen Robinson saw O'Hara's gifts up close, acting alongside her.
I say it with as much humility and sincerity as I can muster. Thank you for everything that you gave us.
And online, the tributes just kept pouring in. Macaulay Culkin, who played her son in Home Alone, wrote, "Mama, I thought we had time. I wanted more." Seth Rogen, who recently worked with O'Hara in the studio, wrote, "This is just devastating. We're all lucky we got to live in a world with her in it." That world now dimmer for many. She leaves her husband and 2 sons, and a world of adoring fans. As you would expect, we are continuing to hear from people who loved O'Hara deeply. Dan Levy, who played her son in Schitt's Creek, shared his grief on social media, saying what a gift to have gotten to dance in the warm glow of Catherine O'Hara's brilliance for all those years. Erica, this is a loss that cut to the core for many.
And Magda, you were at Second City just after the news broke. How is Catherine O'Hara's influence still being felt there?
You know, her roots run so deep there. You see her pictures throughout the hallways, but her contributions continued. I heard today she was still involved as a member on an artistic advisory board, and she would come in and she would speak with emerging artists, not just here in Toronto, but in Chicago too, giving back where she got her start.
Such a loss. Thanks for this, Magda Gabrisalasa in Toronto tonight. And the Prime Minister is joining in the collective mourning for Catherine O'Hara tonight. In a statement, he said, though her talents are recognized worldwide, Canadians will always claim her as one of our own. On behalf of all Canadians, I offer my deepest condolences to her family, friends, and all those who loved her work on screen. And we'll have more on Catherine O'Hara's defining roles and the void she leaves behind.
There's a kiss at the end of the rainbow, more precious than a pot of gold.
5 decades of laughter, a love of the craft and of human beings in all their strangeness. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. Let's turn to breaking news now. The Conservative Party of Canada has just announced the results of a vote by delegates on Pierre Poilievre's leadership. The vote came at the party's convention in Calgary. Kate McKenna is there and has been following the story all day. Kate, what have party delegates decided?
Well, Erica, results are in, and Pierre Poilievre got 87.4% of support from the delegates here. This is a big result. This is on the higher end of what organizers here were expecting. It does surpass the benchmark that was set by Stephen Harper in 2005. And of course, this comes after months of planning from Pierre Poilievre's team to sort of overcome this, what they perceive to be a final hurdle after a tough year last year where they lost the election, where he lost his seat and 2 members of his caucus crossed the floor. They didn't want to leave anything up to chance. Pierre Poilievre himself was meeting with delegates. He was speaking with people individually. We know that people on his team were following up with them ahead of this vote, but they're very happy with the result they got today.
And this result, Kate, after a nearly hour-long speech he made.
Yeah, he gave a long speech where he shared his vision for the country. A lot of it was stuff that we heard from him before, his view on how Canada should pursue its sovereignty by opening up extraction of resources, standing up for the people who he says are unseen, people who are having trouble making ends meet. He says that the Conservatives are the ones who are going to be able to do that. And this room, that message resonated.
All right, thank you, Kate. Kate McKenna in Calgary tonight. Now let's bring in Chief Political Correspondent Rosemary Barton. Rosie, a huge result for Poilievre. What message does this send?
I think it says a couple of messages, and I should say that Pierre Poilievre's team is overjoyed with this result and breathing a deep sigh of relief, not because there was any doubt, but they wanted a really strong mandate here, and they're coming out of this leadership review with that. It sends a couple of messages, I think. The first one, that Pierre Poilievre really has a grip on the party, that this is right now his party, from the delegates to the organization to the message that he sent to people in this room tonight. And the second is that he will be able to continue very easily if he wants to. It would be very difficult for people inside caucus or others to question his leadership with a number like that. So it secures his position. It gives him a strong mandate to continue. And I think it gives him some confidence and momentum coming out of today as well.
Okay, so looking ahead, what's next for Poilievre?
So in some ways, today was the easy part. You know, he won over this room. He won over the party that believes strongly in him. What he has yet to do, of course, is win over Canadians. This means he will live on. He will fight another election so long as caucus remains with him. But he still has a lot of work to do to convince many Canadians that he's up for the job as Prime Minister. You heard Kate there talk about some of the themes of his speech tonight. Those are all common themes for Conservatives and important themes for that party. party. An area where he didn't go very far, though, still, was on how he would plan to deal with Donald Trump. We're told that we should expect more details on that in the coming days, and that he will spend some time touring the country and talking about those things. But given the state of the world right now, given geopolitics, given the space the Prime Minister has taken up on the world stage on some of these issues, it's been very hard for Pierre Poilievre to punch through. So he is going to have to find an answer to some of those critical questions about how he, as Prime Minister, would deal with the changes we're seeing and the threats from Donald Trump. Affordability is still his main message, but if he wants to be perceived as having the experience, the skills, the resume to deal with the American president, he's going to have to come up with some answers that will convince Canadians in these critical times that he can do it.
All right. Thanks, Rosie. That's CBC News chief political correspondent Rosemary Barton at the Conservative Party convention in Calgary tonight. Donald Trump's latest tariff threat is putting the focus on airplanes. He's demanding that Canada certify some made in the U.S. immediately. Anis Hidari with how Ottawa is responding.
Another tariff threat, another industry. This time, it's Canadian-made aircraft in Donald Trump's crosshairs. The U.S. president demanding some U.S.-made private jets be certified by Canada. Otherwise, Trump says he'll tariff Canadian-made planes at 50%, plus decertify them, singling out Bombardier in particular. In a statement, Bombardier said it's actively investing in expanding our U.S. operations and added, "We hope this is quickly resolved to avoid a significant impact to air traffic and the flying public." Canada's industry minister says when Trump tweets, the government doesn't panic.
It is our understanding that the certification process is well underway and that the certification demands were absolutely recent. So meanwhile, the certification process is something that we don't politicize.
The union representing Bombardier workers called Trump's ultimatum unjustified and dangerous.
We should never forego safety and security. These certifications are important in the aerospace industry and for air transportation, so they're necessary.
And U.S. operators use thousands of Canadian aircraft.
You would actually, in essence, completely halt air transportation in the United States. You'd paralyze the United States if he was to go through with this.
One Canadian expert calls Transport Canada's approval process world-class.
They'll take their time. They'll take the time required to, in fact, make sure the airplane is safe for Canadians and for that airplane to operate in Canada. So it is not illegal that Transport Canada is taking its time. It is part of its regular process.
Despite how Trump worded his post, sources tell CBC News he would only decertify new aircraft. However, the U.S. president has made economic threats on social media before and not actually followed through. Anis Hidari, CBC News, Toronto.
It's been a rough day for hundreds of GM workers in Ontario. They're now officially out of work as the company ends its third shift. Colin Butler with the message they're sending to Ottawa and what Ottawa has to say to GM.
It's a cold morning, but when it's your last shift, it feels colder still.
I still have a job. I just feel sad for everybody else.
And for workers at General Motors plant in Oshawa, Ontario, this doesn't just mean a change in schedule, it's a disruption of everything they've built.
I'm feeling disappointed that the third shift is gone. It's affecting a lot of families and lives.
GM says about 500 direct jobs are being cut, but Unifor says total impact climbs to 1,200 when suppliers are included. With the company reporting more than $12 billion in earnings, Unifor calls it a betrayal. And some workers pushed their anger past the factory gates all the way to Ottawa and Prime Minister Mark Carney.
He's been in office for a while, and he has done zero.
Ottawa put up to $259 million into GM, matched by Ontario to support GM jobs in Oshawa and Ingersoll. The Ingersoll plant shut down in October. Now Ottawa says it wants its money back.
I had a meeting yesterday with people from GM, and I told them that we would be getting our money back.
It's another blow to Ontario's battered auto sector, rattled by U.S. trade policy. There have also been job cuts at Stellantis in Windsor and Brampton, and an investment by Honda in Alliston was paused.
There's no question it's a rapidly changing market, and the whole industry is operating in an environment of complete uncertainty.
Take care.
The industry is calling for a plan. So the question now is whether Ottawa can turn that into something workers can count on. Colin Butler, CBC News, London, Ontario.
New GDP numbers are giving us a look at the state of Canada's economy after almost a year of U.S. tariff uncertainty. Let's go to Peter Armstrong in Toronto for more. Peter, we just heard about layoffs at GM and threats to the aerospace industry. How do these GDP numbers fit into all of this?
You know, we were expecting these numbers to be pretty rough, right around 0%, a bit above, a bit below. And November was just that, no growth at all. But it was the preliminary estimates for December showing just 0.1% growth that stood out. And that all told means probably the economy contracted through the fourth quarter. And, you know, those layoffs at GM, the threats at Bombardier, that's the story here, right? Business investment is bleeding out from the auto sector especially, and those threats to the aerospace industry, they're not really about private jets. They're about injecting more of that uncertainty into the investment environment. And the source of that is clear. We saw manufacturing fell, wholesale trade shrank. The trade-sensitive sectors are getting clobbered. And we expect the economy is only going to grow like 1% over the rest of this year, with those CUSMA free trade review coming just up this summer.
Okay, so Peter, markets hate uncertainty, so the TSX sold off sharply today. What has investors so nervous?
So on the TSX, it's kind of a combination of uncertainties, the latest threats of tariffs and the GDP report, but it's also part of this broader sell-off to reacting to President Trump's nomination of Kevin Warsh to be the next head of the central bank, the Federal Reserve.
And so why does Warsh's nomination add to the uncertainty?
Well, Trump wanted a Fed chair that had cut rates. He nominated Jerome Powell during his first term to do that, but is now fighting with Powell because he's not cutting rates fast enough. So everybody thought Trump was going to appoint somebody keen to cut rates, and Warsh is not that. He's got a long record of keeping rates high to control inflation. So markets are kind of wondering, are we back to where we started with the president warring with the Fed chair for the next 3 years?
All right, thanks for this. Peter Armstrong in Toronto tonight. A U.S. district judge has ruled Luigi Mangione will not face the death penalty if he's convicted of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
What was Mr. Mangione's reaction when he learned the death penalty was off the table?
We're all very relieved.
Mangione's legal team is calling the judge's decision to toss the federal murder charge incredible. Without it, prosecutors can't seek capital punishment. Mangione is still charged with murder at the state level, but New York does not have the death penalty. Large crowds have gathered in cities across the U.S. tonight, demanding that federal immigration agents leave Minnesota. The protests come one day after the arrest of 2 journalists for filming a demonstration inside a church. Katie Nicholson shows us the scale of the response.
For a second frigid Friday, thousands choked the streets of downtown Minneapolis, railing against the 2-month-long immigration crackdown. Just as the Attorney General announced arrests connected to this protest. Inside a church where the pastor worked for ICE.
You have the right to worship freely and safely. And if I haven't been clear already, if you violate that sacred right, we are coming after you.
So right now is kind of mayhem.
Among those arrested,
Let's see if I can talk to him.
former CNN anchor Don Lemon.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable.
Now an independent journalist facing a federal civil rights charge. And local journalist Georgia Fort, who recorded this brief message before her arrest.
I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press. Because now federal agents are at my door.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch.
Press freedom advocates were quick to condemn the arrests. So were local and national leaders.
They've arrested a journalist for the crime of doing his job.
Pam Bondi's deputy was also asked about Lemon's arrest.
What are you looking for me to do? Jump up and down?
Blanche also downplayed his own confirmation the Civil Rights Division will play a role in the FBI's investigation into the shooting of Alex Preddy.
I don't want to overstate what's happening. I don't want the takeaway to be that there's some massive civil rights investigation that's happening.
Last night, the U.S. president called Preddy, who was killed by border agents on Saturday, an agitator and perhaps an insurrectionist. On Friday, he maligned the protesters of Minneapolis.
These are paid insurrectionists, paid troublemakers.
And yet from Los Angeles to Albuquerque to Providence, Rhode Island, they came out in solidarity with Minnesota. And so did the boss, to play his new protest anthem in the city that inspired it and inspired a movement for change. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
A Virginia warehouse owned by BC billionaire Jim Pattison will not be sold after revelations it was going to be turned into an ice facility. A statement from Jim Pattison Developments says the sale will not be proceeding. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security was in talks to buy the warehouse, telling local officials that ICE intended to modify the building to add holding and processing facilities. It appears Russia is halting strikes on Ukraine's power grid, and Donald Trump is taking credit for it.
I personally asked President Putin not to fire into Kiev.
The latest on the ceasefire talks, next. Plus, more on the life and legacy of Canadian actor Catherine O'Hara.
Let go of our lesser selves and love the others as we would be loved.
Her legendary career, in her own words. We're back in 2. Donald Trump is taking credit for what appears to be a pause in bombings on Kyiv, claiming he persuaded Vladimir Putin to halt strikes on Ukraine's energy sector. Chris Brown on a reaction in a skeptical Ukraine.
There is no truce, far from it, but perhaps a small break in Russia's unending attacks on Ukraine's power grid, with U.S. President Donald Trump taking the credit.
I personally asked President Putin not to fire into Kiev and the various towns for a week, and he agreed to do that, and I have to tell you, it was very nice.
It does appear in the capital, Kyiv, Russian attacks on Ukraine's heavily damaged power grid have paused. Russia is tearing through its cache of drones and missiles. And while it continues to replenish them, it's also possible Putin needed a break to stock up. I trust neither Putin nor Trump, said Kostiantin, a pensioner. Putin will just stockpile his missiles and keep firing. President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked Trump, but then suggested Russia has merely shifted to other targets. Russia is striking logistics, including Ukrainian railways, he said. Recent Russian attacks on Kyiv have left hundreds of high-rises and hundreds of thousands of people without heat for days on end, with temperatures regularly dropping below -15 Celsius.
Russia is targeting hospitals, schools, apartment buildings, critical infrastructure, energy infrastructure, in order to bomb and freeze Ukrainians into surrender.
Trump's negotiators are pressuring Zelensky to give up unconquered territory in eastern Ukraine in exchange for security guarantees. But again, Russia's foreign minister indicated his side still expects what amounts to Ukraine's total surrender. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, these kids struggle to keep their routines, practicing gymnastics in thick hats and gloves. We have a generator, said their coach, but it only keeps a few lights on, not the heat. This winter has been the hardest and coldest, she says, since Russia's invasion now almost 4 years ago. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Tributes are pouring in for Canadian actor Catherine O'Hara.
Careful, that's my sculpture. And I don't mean my and I bought it, I mean I made it. It's my sculpture.
We look back at her iconic roles spanning 5 decades. Plus, Marie-Philippe Poulin will lead Team Canada's women's hockey team at the Milano-Cortina Olympics.
Every athlete, you want to get to the top. You want to get there. That's how you prepare. That's how you train.
Her game plan facing off against their biggest rival. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world next. Recapping the breaking news from Calgary, where Pierre Poilievre has secured 87.4% support from party members to keep his role as Conservative Party leader. Party officials say some 2,700 delegates cast ballots at the party convention after an hour-long speech from Poilievre. This leadership review was required under the Conservative Party rules after the party lost the federal election last year. Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world.
In front, they score! Poulin!
At the Olympics, she's the tip of Canada's spear. Can she lead the women's hockey team to victory after stinging defeats this year against the U.S.?
How can we sharpen things before the Olympics?
But first, remembering the incredible career, the infectious joy, the warmth and the wisdom.
People are hilarious, whether we mean to be or not.
Of Canadian actor and comedian Catherine O'Hara. Eli Glasner takes us through O'Hara's life, her work, and how she touched hearts and split sides for more than 5 decades.
To be a fan of Catherine O'Hara is to be a connoisseur of comedy. From the iconic, if not misguided, mums,
Kevin! David! What does burning smell like?
to the litany of ludicrous characters from SCTV.
I was intrigued, and it seemed somehow right to accept his offer.
And many movie roles.
Stack banana till the morning come.
Not to mention the masterclass in improv and committing to the bit.
There's a kiss at the end of the rainbow.
So how do you learn to be funny, effortlessly funny? For O'Hara, who went from waitressing at Second City to auditioning and joining the troupe, part of it was just looking at the world around her.
I took the streetcar and bus to work, Second City, and just listened to conversations.
Yeah.
And okay. Or you see a look and you go, okay, I'm trying that tonight.
One of O'Hara's first breaks was the oh-so-artistic Delia from Tim Burton's Beetlejuice.
Careful, that's my sculpture.
2 years later, she landed the life-changing role of the mum in Home Alone.
Terrible feeling
Know what?
that we didn't do something.
The fateful forgetting of Kevin created a legacy of sorts, as she explained to Sunday Today.
A child came up to me, like a little 8-year-old, in a mall. Are you Kevin's mom? I said, well, yeah, I played Kevin's mom in a movie, yes. Why did you leave him? Sorry, it was in the script. So you left him twice. I know, I'm sorry. Isn't that called abandonment? Yes, I'm sorry.
Maybe there was a kindness to her that helped us forgive those parental lapses. A real-life mother herself and someone who came from a family of 7 kids, that generosity of spirit saw her playing numerous mother roles. But it was her killer comedic instincts that made her an essential part of Christopher Guest's improvised films. From Sheila, the amateur thespian of Waiting for Guffman.
How did you find me?
I have my ways.
Would you like to come in for coffee?
You don't need to answer.
To the overly earnest Mickey from the folk music spoof A Mighty Wind.
There's a kiss at the end of the rainbow.
And one half of the incomprehensible couple of Cookie and Jerry from Best in Show.
I like to think that Cookie and I work as a team, although I do nothing. She does all the work with Winky.
At the Toronto International Film Festival in 2000, you could feel her bond with her old friend from SCTV.
When I was listening to people talking about what they laughed at, I think Eugene and I laughed most at each other, just suffering with each other. And our first day together, we were like, you talk, no, you talk. And he's saying, you know about dogs. I do not. You talk about the dogs.
And then came Schitt's Creek and the indelible lunacy of Moira Rose.
Someone has to find naked pictures of me. Better you than a stranger in a storm cellar.
Is it, though?
At first, O'Hara resisted committing to the TV series. But Eugene Levy made his pitch. They'd shoot in Toronto. She could visit her cottage on the weekends.
You know, and it finally hit me, stupid and slow as I am, like, what am I insane? Why wouldn't I do this? It's a fun thing. They're open to ideas. I'm the age I am. Where else am I going to be doing this?
brought vodka.
Of course, Moira became a critical part of what made the Rose family one we were so happy to spend time with that classic Catherine O'Hara touch under the voice and the mannerisms, the heart. And in humble O'Hara style, when she won her first Emmy for acting in 2020, she went out of her way to thank those who made Moira who she was, at least on the outside.
I must pay an especially gaudiloquent tribute to Deborah Hanson, our wardrobe whisperer, to my guardian makeup angel, Lucky Bromhead, and to our dare-doing hair wrangler, Anasaurus. Every day, their munificent venestation made me who I thought I was. Good evening.
But the only thing bigger than Moira's amazing hairdos and don'ts was O'Hara's talent. Comedy is a strange thing. Is it a knack, a skill? Maybe both. When we spoke, she said it's a way of looking at the world.
People are hilarious, whether we mean to be or not. Everyone is a character. And the best thing is, the healthiest kind of humor is if you can laugh at yourself, you have a sense of humor about yourself. And we're all ridiculous and lovely, beautiful, hilarious people. And so there's just a never-ending wealth of characters in the world.
We're all ridiculous and lovely and beautiful. The perfect words from a woman who gave us so much.
And the CEO of Second City, where O'Hara got her start in comedy, said she was a mentor and inspiration to younger comedians. Another longtime creative executive at Second City said the world is less funny without her. When we come back, the captain of Canada's women's hockey team talks about the road to Olympic gold.
You want to get to the top. You want to get there. That's how you prepare. That's how you train day in and day out.
What drives her and her teammates, with all eyes on Milano-Cortina.
Off the turnover, wrist shot, score! A seeing eye shot, and it's in! Marie-Philippe Poulin, the captain.
Marie-Philippe Poulin will captain Team Canada's women's hockey team at the Olympics.
In front, they score! Poulin!
Known for some big moves and golden goals, she has more Olympic hockey gold medal winning goals than anyone else, and is one of Canada's most decorated and respected players. Milano-Cortina will be her 5th Olympics, and there's a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations on Team Canada to repeat 2022's gold medal performance. I caught up with Marie-Philippe in Montreal, where she and her PWHL team, the Montreal Victoire, train and practice.
Where do you keep the medals that you already have?
In a safe at my house, so yeah. In a safe, yep. It's really rare I take them out.
Hits the trailer shot, oh, what a stop! Rebound, score! The captains double down, Marie-Philippe Poulin!
But does Poulin miss? No, she does not.
You have 4 Olympic medals, 1 silver, 3 gold. Is there room for 1 more?
Of course, I think that's what keeps me going for sure. You do have that goal in your mind. I think as every athlete, you want to get to the top. You want to get there. That's how you prepare. That's how you train day in and day out. And I think for all of us, it's our common goal here, and we're going to work towards it.
Poulin looking to end it here. Shoots, scores! Captain Clutch!
You've been called one of the greatest hockey players in the world. You're known as Captain Clutch. How do you feel about that as a nickname?
I'm not sure about it. It is kind of, but again, I don't know what happened. I mean, I am a big believer in preparation, in putting everything that you have towards your common goals. At the Olympics, it's every 4 years, and doing the hard work when no one is watching. I think I'm a big believer is that doing that extra rep sometime when you don't really want to.
What is it that you say to yourself to get that extra rep around the rink?
Let's go, Maddie. I think I just honestly keep it quite simple. You got this. When you're kind to yourself, when you believe in that, that goes a long way.
There's been a lot of talk about the Americans. They have swept the Canadians in recent competitions.
As the buzzer sounds for the first time ever, the United States sweeps the rivalry series, going undefeated, winning all 4 games for the first time in rivalry series history.
People are saying they're going to be tough. this time too. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, they will be. The last year has been tough for our team, and it's part of it. It was a disappointment for sure. It was an eye opener. It was a look in the mirror for all of us to how can we sharpen things before the Olympics. And I think is people can talk, and it's whoever's in that dressing room that believes that's gonna be ready to go.
Let's talk about some of your incredible moves. The Sochi Olympics 2014. You tie the game with seconds to go.
In front, they score! Poulin has tied it for Canada!
Obviously, that game was kind of a crazy game. If I look back, I'll say we're down 2-0 with about 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Not that I remember it by heart, but
Roughly.
yeah, roughly. And obviously, Brianne Jenner had a great goal for us to kind of put us on the board. And I see at that moment, we kind of never lost hope.
Then you come back and you score the winning goal in overtime.
Down low, shot, scores! It's Poulin again! Canada wins gold in overtime!
Going back in that overtime, it did happen. It was a great play by Rebecca Johnston and Laura Fortino, back and forth, and lucky enough, I was in the right spot at the right time, and we're able to win that. So that was quite the special game, that's for sure.
After you win a game, what's it like heading back into the dressing room?
Pure joy, pure excitement. Obviously, just taking a moment to all of us, just thinking what just happened, the kind of game we just played, and being able, obviously, to celebrate with your teammates, with your team, and obviously, again, with our family and friends there, there's no better feeling.
I want to talk about your recent wedding. You've been married just over a year now to Laura Stacey, a teammate, a line mate. It's not often that you see couples who are married performing at such a high level. What does your relationship bring to the game?
Yeah, I think we work quite hard on each other, honestly. I think we do speak a lot about how we can get better. I think we're never satisfied to where we're at. And I think that's what makes it special. We do work together a lot. We work out a lot. We do these extra reps together. I think just being able to remind ourselves how lucky we are to go through this journey together, playing for La Victoire, playing for Team Canada when we have the chance. I think it's quite special.
Stacey, she gets to the puck, coming in on Rooney, shoots and scores!
Now, even the best couples sometimes have moments where they're not that happy with the other person. How do you leave that aside?
Yeah, we are both quite competitive. We are hard critics towards each other, honestly. It's funny because if, let's say I miss a pass or she misses a pass, I'm sure we're quite hard on each other, but if there's other player that does it, like, okay, nice try, you know? So sometimes it's easy to be so 24/7 into what we love most, hockey, and just talk about it, how we get better. But I think making a pause, taking a pause to just being in the moment, enjoying each other, I think goes a long way.
There famously was that social media moment recently. You and Laura were celebrating a goal that had been scored. Someone took a picture, posted it on social media that said, score a goal, celebrate with your fiance. And then someone named Marcus posted below, her fiance is there. I didn't see him behind the glass, which prompted this whole she's gay Marcus meme that went viral. How did you feel about that?
It did kind of caught us off guard at the beginning, but honestly, as the league went on and the amount of people that would come and watch us, and not only having a sport background, but it was people from different community, from the art, from the music culture, everybody all around coming into a ring to watch hockey. And I think to us, that kind of really opened our eyes to see how much we can connect with everybody and how people will come and see us and say, thank you, I can be myself now. I think a lot of that happened, and to us, I was like, wow, okay, this is way bigger than hockey right now. It's creating a community where people can be themselves in the rink, and from little boys to little girls to older generation, everybody's in there for the same reason, towards the hockey game.
You've also been a key player during a huge moment for women's hockey. We've seen the creation of the PWHL, the teams have been getting a lot more attention. What does it mean to be part of women's hockey and to see it get bigger and bigger audience?
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Obviously, I was pretty lucky to see what women's hockey was kind of before to what it's now. I kind of saw the change over my career and to see what it's like and how much it has exploded, it's been unbelievable. And not only women's hockey, but sports and women's sports in general. It's been amazing to see the growth of it. And we're all in this together. We're pushing for the growth of the sport for little girls to dream big.
So this hockey thing seems to have turned out okay for you. Was there ever a time you thought, I could do something else? What could that be?
Honestly, it's been so in me since I was a kid. I was the only girl to play with boys, and I really had to stand my ground, and it's kind of what built my character. Honestly, I played body checking with the boys for a long time, and I remember sometimes I would hear parents or the other team saying she doesn't belong here, like why is she taking a spot of a guy? And obviously that kind of built me up. I'm a pretty stubborn person. When I want to achieve something, I want to do it. So hearing that, players hitting me, falling down, I think that's what really taught me to get back up.
So I've got to ask, have you thought about this Olympics? Could this be your last?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not ready yet to go there, honestly. Yes, there's like it's crazy. Like it is a number. Age is a number. I'm still loving it. We'll see what happens. I want to enjoy this one and go from there.
And you're still rocking it.
Yeah.
And we all wish you well. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And the Milano-Cortina opening ceremony is next Friday, but Poulin and the rest of Canada's women's hockey team take to the ice in just 6 days. Their first game is against Finland. And Adrienne is on assignment in Milan tonight in the lead up to the Olympics. She'll be hosting from there next week with special coverage leading up to the opening ceremony. That is just 1 week away tonight. Recently, she sat down with the artistic director leading the team, putting it all together. Here's a preview.
Good evening, Your Majesty.
Think about the Queen and James Bond in London. Think about Celine Dion at the Eiffel Tower. Icons in iconic settings.
In every opening ceremony, there's a moment everyone talks about the next day and for a long time to come. Will there be one of those in this ceremony?
For sure there will be a moment. Barcelona lighting the cauldron with the arrow. In Torino we had Pavarotti singing for the last time. For sure we have 1 or 2 moments that can be make your eye water. I don't know how you
make you cry.
Make you very emotional. I insist on that because I think that's the best tool to get everyone together.
Watch for that story and much more next week on The National from Milan. And Adrienne will also be co-hosting CBC's live coverage of the opening ceremony. She'll be joined by Devin Haru from CBC Sports. That starts Friday, February 6th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, wherever you watch CBC. From Home Alone to Schitt's Creek, Catherine O'Hara made so many of us laugh here in Canada and around the world.
The healthiest kind of humor is if you can laugh at yourself, if you have a sense of humor about yourself.
Catherine O'Hara, in her own words, in our moment, next. Canadians are mourning the loss of a comedy legend tonight. Catherine O'Hara brought so much joy in her career that spanned decades. Some of those laughs and what that meant to her makes our moment.
The healthiest kind of humor is if you can laugh at yourself.
I changed it into like this, though, dear. That's the way she talked.
It's a lovely thing to be a part of something that just might inspire us while we're laughing, to let go of our lesser selves and love the others as we would be loved. Rub my back.
What? No.
I rubbed your back many a night when you were little.
Yeah, in exchange for half my allowance.
I am so proud to be involved in a show that laughs at the ridiculousness of all that we are.
And I don't know how to be any clearer. You take that thing that's in your hand, and you...
If you say fold in one more time.
It says fold it in.
We're all ridiculous and lovely, beautiful, hilarious people, and so there's just a never-ending wealth of characters in the world. Yeah, there's that.
But this is what it's all about.
And as we saw earlier in the show, reactions to O'Hara's death are pouring in. Singer Michael Bublé said he is heartbroken. That doesn't even begin to cover it. He called her a rare, rare light. And Ellen DeGeneres called O'Hara a brilliant comedian and said she was sending love to all those who adore her, which might be everyone. Indeed, it might just be. From all of us at the National, thank you for being with us. I'm Erica Johnson in Vancouver. Take care.